World Enduro Super Series. You join us with the riders literally just coming out to take part in the final race of the year, the Getzen Champ. Now, the Getzen race was run earlier on, which basically determined who will qualify for this afternoon's race. And joining me in the pre-show and popping off to the commentary, a legend that is Paul Bolton. Now, Bolts, obviously, you've not been riding this year through injury, but you have been to a lot of the events, and I know you've been following everything that's been going on. It has been a hell of a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been an absolutely bonkers year. You know, it's really proven that everybody can make the mark in all this, and really got off to a good start for Mario Roman in Lagares.
Yeah, it was a hell of a start to the year for Mario Roman. We'll show you a little bit more of that later on, but first, let's take a look at the WESS Championship standings coming into this weekend. Now, you can see there, Manny Lettenbichler leading, but after the Getzen race this morning, I can confirm that he is our 2019 World Enduro Ultimate Champion. Hell of a year for him. Johnny Walker in second with Josep Garcia, who's not here riding today, in third. Alfredo Gomez, 206 points behind Walker. So he's all to play for that second place, with Graham Jarvis in fifth and Nathan Watson in sixth. Go on, lad. Now, Nathan Watson, critically, isn't riding this afternoon because he didn't qualify for the Getzen race. So we'll not, for the Getzen Champ, rather. So we'll not see Nathan riding this afternoon. Let's take a look at the very best of the year so far, and it all started in Portugal at Lagares. It was a brilliant start to the year, wasn't it? Because it's basically 3 different events.
It was, yeah. We're starting off with the Enduro Cross here, and absolutely mega riding from a few of the riders, and then we jumped down into the old town of Porto. What an iconic situation it is down there. Amazing, lots and lots of steps, and yeah, and then we jump into some of the most slippiest sections, river sections in the series.
Yeah, it was a brilliant start to the year. There you go, you can see this, what you're talking about. Great start to the year for Mario Roman, and we were talking about it earlier. It was all about his mindset, and he said he came into this year with a he basically hit the reset button, and it worked for him.
Absolutely, yeah. Mario completely changed his mindset, like you say. He's said it in a few interviews that that's what he's been focusing on more than ever, and it just shows it's anybody's race. These races are anybody's races, but it is all up here.
Yeah, absolutely. So much of it is in your head. Shot of the event, though. Have a look at this. This is Johnny Walker going swimming. Now, it's interesting. You can see him here. He's just had a little sniff of Billy Bolt,
and then he's just going to go on, and he's having a go. You can see it better on the onboard here. He actually hesitates and then goes, I'm not going to make it. He's going to bounce off him anyway. Anyway, he went for a swim and sampled how cold the water was there in Porto. Just
drop the back wheel off and the front followed. I tell you what, the boys in the dinghy doing a fantastic job. And Johnny, the centre humour he is. Have a look at this. Finishes it in style. Go on, son, straight into the water.
Why not?
Absolutely
Why not?
Brilliant. Right, round 2, Le Trèfle. Interesting one, wasn't it? Because normally it's an event that's dominated by French riders, and this year it wasn't at all.
Yeah, no, it totally wasn't. It was dominated by Garcia. He took the win there, and then it was Jamie McCanny, the fellow Brit, and it was Nathan Watson rounding up the podium. But no, the Frenchies out there, absolutely class on that grass. But the biggest challenge for the guys this year was the cold weather. When I did it in 2018, it was beautiful, best riding I've ever done. And then moving into 19 this year was all cold, so it was about the concentration, jump into the special test, slightly cold, but by the time they come out of it, they weren't cold anymore.
No, absolutely. And it comes as no surprise that Josep Garcia did so well there. And Jamie McCanny, great to see him on the podium too. Right, moving on, the legend, the Mac Daddy of one-day events, of course, the Erzberg Red Bull Hare Scramble. What an event it was. G-Force Jarvis, you know, he's getting old, but boy, he's still got it, eh?
Old but gold, that man.
Old but gold.
Yeah, you know, this race needs absolutely no introduction. It's one of my favourite races in the series. Massive hill climbs. You know, you can see Mario just pulling up there. And one of the biggest things that happened in this race was this section here, Runnerhuller. You know, that's Graham just chumping into it there. We're going to see it again in a second. But that was one of the difficult sections of this year, where Manny jumped in and there was a bit of something going on.
Well, we can take a closer look at that now. We've seen the end result, but that was a key part of the race, wasn't it? When Graham was tearing up the green.
Absolutely.
We've got it here. Look at this. The bike just gets away from him.
Yeah, gets it up, recovers it nicely, slips back down, but he knows that somebody's going to be coming now, and here he is, Manny Letty, and he's going to go, but he doesn't get it. He could have rode over him and used him for some traction, but, you know, it is a gentleman's sport at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And critically, at this point of the year, our current champion, or our new champion, Manny Lettenbichler, hadn't won a single round. It was just all through consistency.
Yeah, just, you know...
Just being there.
The diesel. Let's call him the diesel. The diesel. Of hard enduro. You know, he keeps that consistency going, and that's where we are today, you know, that's where it's all at.
Right, moving on, round 4, Hixpania. Another good one for Graham Jarvis, although he didn't really dominate the event, did he?
No, he didn't. No, it wasn't all his own way. It was actually Gomez and Mario Roman who dominated most of the race. Mario even won the run into the cave there, you know, fired out of it like a cannon. And it was all about consistency again, but it was actually G-Force Jarvis that eventually got the final win due to the setup of this race.
Yeah, great result. And as a result of that, G-Force Jarvis, Graham Jarvis, was actually leading 120 points clear of Manny that
Exactly. So that's Jarvis just crossing the line, actually in second place, but because of the way and the format of Hixpania, he got the win.
Yeah, a brilliant start to the year. So that's the first 4 rounds out of the way. But, and you can't ignore them, what makes the WESS Series so special are the amateurs, the privateers who come here and rub shoulders with the world's very best. And more often than not, it's those guys who leave us smiling.
Absolutely.
8 races in 7 countries have been united by one singular purpose: to find the ultimate enduro world champion. For those further down the ladder, this could be the best opportunity to impress the factory teams and advance their career. To some, this is simply a calling too loud to ignore.
You are riding the pro course, aren't you? So it's a big thing for hobby riders.
Thousands of fans, riders, and motorsport enthusiasts from all over the world want to take part in the craziest off-road spectacle. That is the World Enduro Super Series.
With us being hobby riders, you know, we have to work on our own bikes. You know, we don't have a posh mechanic in posh overalls.
Privateer has to fix the things himself, get friends, family to help out, and also to manage this, I have to finance it myself. And it's not easy. But if you want, you can find solutions.
The majority at all events are amateurs, not chasing contracts, sponsorship, or championship points, but a challenge that can only be found within this event series.
One of the reasons that I'm doing this is the bragging rights that I can have. As I said, I raced against Jarvis and all the other guys.
My little nephew isn't going to go and play football against Manchester United, and you're not going to go and race your motor car against Lewis Hamilton. Never in a million years would that happen. But in this sport, you can bring your bike and you can see how good you really are.
Every year, the quality of riding increases, but in the end, it's all about meeting people and celebrating together.
All the riders helping each other, there's so much camaraderie. It's like bringing a family together. It's beautiful.
For the amateurs, one thing always stays the same: the passion for hard enduro. And most importantly, it's the taking part that counts.
To me, finishing it's a win, and my level is the minimum one. I will try to survive and to go to work on Monday.
It is absolutely brilliant seeing those guys, and a lot of them turn up and they go, all I want to do is finish. It's mega. But as you well know, actually, Bolts, yourself, because you've run as a privateer for a long, long time, it does make all the difference when you've got, you know, other privateers helping you and people at home helping you as well, Mrs. B.
Absolutely. Mrs. B's helped me loads, but it's not just Lisa, it's all the other people that have helped over the years, different friends, sponsors, you know, never forgot it, and it's helped me have a great time so far.
Absolutely. There's no other, I can't really think of any other proper motorsport event in the world where you're starting with the very best in your class and rubbing shoulders with them. It is absolutely brilliant. We love having the amateurs and the privateers as part of the WESS. Now, moving on and getting back to the action, round 5 took us to Romania and the Romaniacs, and to be honest, for me, Bolts, this was where Manny Lettenbichler really made his mark.
Absolutely, Jenny. You know, we're starting off here in the City Prologue, which is just bringing enduro into the public. The longest race of the year by far, really long, brutal days, which makes it so technical, and the climbs, obviously. Descents, they're the scariest bit. But here we've got Manny just crossed into the finish line. Look how nervous he is. But that's why he was nervous, because Alfredo Gomez was so close, and that was it when he realised that Alfredo had gone down again, and he knew he'd got it.
Yeah, first win of the year for Manny Lettenbichler. Let's take a little closer look at that final battle between Gomez and Lettenbichler, because here we go. Now,
yeah.
Look at that, it's heartbreaking for Alfredo because the bike was previously stuck. So
exactly.
he had to climb back up to go and rescue it.
But just climbing up there on your feet, there's Manny's face. I was actually stuck just over the fence from that there. And then this is the second go from Gomez, and he just doesn't quite get the drive on that middle section. Almost actually puts his hand in the back wheel, which is so sketchy, and then comes back down. And then you'll see Manny and his dad just going wild. So
that's when he knows he's done it.
Yeah.
Brilliant result for Manny Lettenbichler at the Red Bull Romaniacs. And interestingly, 10 years previously, it was his dad there that won it as well. So that was a really nice thing for him.
Yeah, a bit of a cherry on the cake for the Lettenbichlers.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. Right, round 6, over to GB. Now, it was at Hawkstone Park, and it comes as no surprise because that combination of cross-country and motocross, it comes as no surprise that Nathan Watson was on the pace there, in fact, setting the pace for his win.
Absolutely, mega result from Nathan. Iconic place, Hawkstone Park. You know, look at that style for miles over there from Nate Dogg. But, really good. First the cross-country rounds. Garcia actually turned up with an injury, so he was expected to have a good go, but got a really bad start off the start line there, and it was Nathan just slinging that 450 round there, which was not the weapon of choice. But going to MX of Nations he was in a couple of weeks' time after that, and it was a good training session for him.
Yeah, the famous Nathan Watson teethy smile. We've got to talk about Manny Lettenbichler though, because he went to Hawkstone, and we're not doing him a disservice here. That's not where he knows he's quickest. Do you know what I mean? And he properly pulled one out of the bag there.
He did. He was so pleased with that, and he really didn't expect it. It all was a bit circumstances of one section. He got through it in the early stages, had a bit of confidence, and then just took it to the finish line to come second, which was a mega result. And I think he would have been happy with the top 5.
Absolutely. Which just leaves Solsona, round 7 of the championship, and it was brilliant for Josep Garcia, the local lad, to go there and take the win.
Absolutely. This track, I was so jealous watching it at home. I mean, look at it, it's so picturesque, and it was a cracking event. Enduro, lots of different styles, big steps, enduro cross features, desert, in a dried river, in a dried lake. So, yeah, but Joseph Garcia absolutely killing it and taking it. Nice wheelie over the finish line there, and getting a good throw up in the air from the crowd.
I absolutely love that. I mean, they sent him into orbit. There's not much to Josep Garcia, is he? He was up there with air traffic control control, wasn't he? It was brilliant to see. The other thing as well is that Nathan Watson obviously took so much confidence from his win at Hawkstone because he had a great weekend at Solsona as well.
He did as well, yeah, coming into second place, and it was Johnny Walker in third place as well.
Absolutely. Right, so that's the first 7 rounds of the World Enduro Super Series done. We have had the Getzen race this morning. We'll give you the highlights of that after the break. We've still got the Getzen champ. Manny Lettenbichler is our 2019 champion. Bolts, you've got to get yourself off to the commentary box. I'm getting away from that cannon. I'm not getting deafened. But we'll be back after this short break for the final race of the 2019 World Enduro Super Series. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, get over to Red Bull TV now. That's the only place you can watch the race. We'll see you in a sec.
Startplatz 2. Also, der Startplatz hier umlagert von einigen Kameras des Live-Fernsehens sind Teddy Platschuk.
Races, 7 countries, in search of the ultimate Enduro World Champion. A season to remember culminates here. Where a new Ultimate Enduro World Champion will be crowned. The GetzenRodeo starts now.
In the heart of Germany's long-standing and deeply passionate enduro community is the GetzenRodeo, a verified rarity and revered event that pushes the sport's elite to the brink of their breaking point, en route to finding Getzen greatness. Today, it is also the culmination of the 8-stop season-long march to crowning the coveted WESS 2019 champion, which we have done already in the form of Manny Lettenbichler. As we welcome everyone back, Pat Parnell, along with South African enduro legend himself, Daryl Curtis. Awesome to be here with you, sir. An honor, if I may say. It has been already an incredible morning, as we just saw, as the earlier race, the Getzen race, started off in proper fashion with the cannon. 60 riders, whittled down to 20, and as expected, the usual suspects fast off the line.
And what a race it was, Pat. I mean, we just saw explosive action right out of the start gate. That cannon was deafening, by the way. And of course, it was just a mixed bag of riders here as they went into the forest. Yeah. Letty struggled in the beginning, 5th place in the beginning.
And it was good to see the rest in tow. Johnny Walker staying in step. His dad obviously very confident early on, knowing that his son, Manuel Lettenbichler, would stay in hot pursuit.
And of course, Letty, he's had a flawless year. There you can see him in the middle of the pack. Taddy Blazuziak just to the left of him, to the right of him now. Manny got out okay.
But an instant takeaway was just how comfortable Lettenbichler was looking. And as we mentioned, the usual suspects, the likes of Jarvis. But Tadej Blazusiak facing a little bit of a traffic.
We saw Billy Bolt there taking an early lead, and Teddy throwing his bike over this obstacle, which caused a lot of drama in the first race this morning. Mario Roman there doing exactly the same thing, same style. That obstacle later on is going to be proving, it's going to be an awesome spectacle when they have to do that in reverse in this race coming up now. Billy Bolt again took the early lead.
And Billy Bolt would slowly start to lose time as Lettenbichler was pulling away, but you could see just how decisive Lettenbichler was in his dominance in the first race of two.
What an awesome line there from Manny. And again here, edging along the side of this knife edge over here. He's the first guy to take this line. He edged his way along and around the tree and maintained the lead.
And no surprise after that, others would take that similar line. So Lettenbichler leading the charge on the razor's edge.
Of course, we see everybody else try to take that line later on and block that line up completely again. And the guys had to get creative again.
Just Lettenbichler making easy work of this course, putting on a virtual clinic as he would work his way through and just distancing himself from the rest of the talented pack.
Billy, of course, running into a couple of problems. I think he had a problem with his gear lever somewhere during the morning, and he fell back to 9th place.
That's right, Billy Bolt, problems with the clutch, but his team able to sort things out. He was able to keep within that elastic top 4 lead, but Johnny Walker able to gain ground and move into that 2nd place position for the moment.
And there we see Tadej Blazusiak passing Alfredo Gomez into 3rd place.
And Tadej Blazusiak, his frustration was evident and audible as he tried to work his way through some crowded sections. 60 competitors to start things off, trying to get to that coveted 20 transfer spot.
This area was really getting dug up, and you could see all the pros struggling here as those roots came out. And Teddy was trying the same line here
we did mention the visible frustration, the audible frustration, and Tadej Blazusiak, you could hear just how bad he wanted to get through.
Yeah, he was super angry, and as Manny exposed the line, everybody else started queuing up there, and of course getting into that trap.
Things get heated in enduro, that you can attest to. So unfortunate for Watson, he would fall out of that coveted, as we mentioned, that 20 transfer spot. So Watson wouldn't make it on to the Getzen champ, but the top finisher and the ultimate World Enduro champion, none other than Manuel Lettenbichler. Victorious, his dad on hand to celebrate. So with one victory in the bag for Lettenbichler, now his sights onward and forward to the final race. Can he take top honors twice in one day? What a season-long march it has been for Lettenbichler to get here.
Class performance from Manny Lettenbichler there, also lapping everybody else in the race, including Tadej and Johnny.
So, Tadej Blazusiak in 2nd. Walker able to grab that 3rd transfer spot. So a contentious, a competitive, a very, very big morning here at the GetzenRodeo. But the big story is all about the ultimate World Enduro champion. Right now, we send it down to Chenny to hear from our champ.
I am with the ultimate World Enduro champion right now, Manny. Before we talk about the race this afternoon, because there's still a job to be done, you are the world champion. I know at the start of the race, you were white, man.
Oh my God, it's just unbelievable, Jackie, like it's just unbelievable crazy. Like, I finished 2nd last year, and now we won the WESS title in 2019, which is ridiculous. Like, I can't actually realize it at the moment, and I try to focus now on this race. I hope it's working out, because it's not as easy. Like, the feelings are everywhere at the moment.
It's been a hell of a year for you, but as I said, to be done this afternoon in front of your home crowd, and there's a few of them, isn't there?
Yeah, crazy. Like, the crowd was already so crazy in the first race, and now I think it's even more out. We got the sun, which is nice because the weather forecast says it's not going to be nice. So, yeah, I'm just blessed to be here. I just ride around, have fun, and give the guys a good show.
Mate, you're a legend. We'll see you in about an hour and a half. Back to you, boys.
Thank you, Chetty. Nerves of still, calm and collected. Man, Manny looks unstoppable as we welcome, yes, Mr. Paul Bolton. Bolt, welcome to the booth. I think you made it here in record time. I'm not sure what part of the track you took to get here, but welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah,
it's warmer in here than outside.
Indeed. Temperatures a little bit on the chilly side, but you can see the energy is so high. What's your big takeaway hearing from Manny there, just in terms of his attitude? We talk about the mental state, but it seems very ready to go here.
Absolutely, he's so pumped for it. You know, there's a big paycheck at the end of this race as well. You know, so it's going to be motivating him to do really well. But he looks solid.
Well, he's got to get through the GetzenRodeo track. Let's take a closer look at this 4-kilometer, just under 2.5 mile field of play.
Hey guys, I'm Adrian Guggenmoos. I'm here at the GetzenRodeo. I'm going to show you around the track today, but on a trials bike. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Let's check it out. Right, first big uphill. Super slippery here. Coming up here. Big back my way up. The easiest way. Hecky Park. Alright, made it up the first hill. Oh wait, that's the first tough part. Oh. We're here at the next uphill. It's pretty tricky because there are a lot of trees, so you gotta watch your line. Definitely sketchy up here. No grip whatsoever. Alright, it's the section right after the finish line. Super fun. Nice little techie splatter. A little rock up here, tight corner. The dirt is dry here, so you have a lot more grip. The downhills are pretty alright. Just the uphills where I struggle on the trials bike. This section is probably pretty even on the trials and the enduro bike. Yeah, that should be alright. Alright guys, this was the track preview. I hope you liked it. Enjoy the race.
All right, so that is just the standard portion of the 4-kilometer course, but at the end, after 80 minutes and 1 lap, comes the X Loop. Guys, please break down just what of a beast this section is.
Well, it's very short. I think it's about 500 meters in total. And Paul, we walked around earlier on. What was your impression?
Wow. I just thought, wow, you know, after all that time on the bike and this morning as well, and then to have that thrown at you towards the finish line, yeah, serious. Let's see how many guys.
We can see our current Ultimate World Enduro champion as he re-racks, he readies himself for the last race of the season here of the World Enduro Super Series, a stack field. We started with 60 this morning, whittled it down to 20 as we get ready and we take a look at our 20 competitors that will be leaving. And as we mentioned, the usual suspects, but who should we be focusing on here, guys?
Well, Manny had a flawless run this morning. Teddy's just come off a second at the AMA Enduro Cross. Johnny Walker's made his way up, making fine form. There's just so many. Any one of 6 guys can win this.
Absolutely. Gomez is in good form. Mario Roman, you know, there's at least 10 riders who could take that top step. It's whoever wants it the most.
Well, we see Johnny Walker there in the hunt. We want everyone to join the conversation. Hashtag GetzenRodeo, hashtag Red Bull Motorsports, and of course, Hashtag iridewess. And speaking of Johnny Walker, our own Chenny caught up with him earlier before the race.
Well, down here with Johnny Walker. Johnny, now, fair play to Manny. He's got the job done, but there's still a fantastic fight on between yourself and Alfredo. He's only just over 200 points behind you. There's a big battle on for second place.
Yeah, it's definitely close, but I'm looking forward to this race. I'm ready to get after it, and I'll go hard from start to finish.
Top man, we're pretty much ready to go. Have a good one, fella. Good luck, bro.
Yeah. Thank you, Chetty. Get out of there because we are about to get down with business here at the GetzenRodeo for 2019. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we want to encourage everyone, be sure to move over to Red Bull TV right now so you can get the race live when we come back. The racers take to the course. Do not go anywhere. And there is the eyes of a focused champion right now. Can Lettenbichler find that extra gear that he is going to need to battle and find the top of the podium twice in one day? He's already secured the Ultimate World Enduro Champion title. And the big question remains, is Johnny Walker, is he hungry enough? As we can see an interesting stacked field and wait for the cannon. It will signal the start.